Do we have a new best brokerage in Canada? Maybe. It's definitely getting there, especially when it comes to US investing, and that's huge. Hey guys, it's Adrian here, the Canadian in a t-shirt, and today I'll introduce Moomoo and why they might become my favorite investing platform in Canada. A lot of you guys have never heard of Moomoo. They're new to Canada, but I've been talking with them for about a year, getting my hands dirty with the app, and I have to say, I am genuinely impressed. When it comes to buying stocks, I care about three main factors, and that's what I want to highlight today. First, I want low fees, especially for investing in the US market. That's where Moomoo really shines. You'll see, the numbers are unbelievable. Second, I want features and research tools, and I want them to be free. And third, it needs to be easy to get started, plus a juicy sign-up bonus that I secured for you guys. Before we get to the fun stuff, I want to thank Moomoo for sponsoring this video. I've been running this channel for 5 years, and I've only taken on 2 sponsorships. Now Moomoo will be the third. You know how selective I am when I choose who to work with, and that should tell you how impressed I am with this platform. But they're not perfect. They're still new to Canada. I'll go over all their limitations and room for growth at the end of the video. Super quick overview. Moomoo is a low-fee investing app founded in California in 2018. It's owned by Futu, a holding company based in Hong Kong. This allowed Moomoo to expand internationally where it's had huge success. They currently have 23 million users across Australia, Singapore, Japan, Hong Kong, and the United States. And with these low fees and great features, I'm sure they'll do well in Canada. Now, I've said this many times, you should never put your money into a bank or brokerage unless they are licensed, regulated, and insured. I don't care how good their offer is. If they're not insured, do not give them your money. So rest easy. Moomoo is insured under CIPF. That means your money is protected up to $1 million per account. Watch this video to learn all about CIPF and how to protect yourself. Now, let's get to the fun stuff. How much money can you save with Moomoo? In my case, I would have saved thousands of dollars in fees with Moomoo versus another broker like Wealthsimple. Let's start with their commission fees and then conversion fees for US investments. With Moomoo, you can hold both Canadian dollars and US dollars, and it's totally free. You don't have to pay a monthly fee for that. In fact, there are no monthly fees and no minimum balance either. Their commission fees are super low. For the vast majority of us, we'll only pay $1.50 for Canadian trades and $2 for US trades. This is as close as you can get to free. Note, these commissions are the same for buying and selling, and they're the same for stocks and ETFs. Let's break it down. When buying Canadian stocks, it will be 1.49 cents per share with a minimum of $1.49. So unless you're buying more than 100 shares at once, you'll only pay $1.49. That's amazing. And for small trades, less than $200, it's even lower. You'll only pay between 50 cents and $1.50. I'll show this in action later in the video. Now for US stocks, same structure, but you'll pay 1 cent per share with a minimum of $1.99 in USD. So unless you're buying more than 200 shares at once, you'll only pay $1.99. And for small trades below $100, you'll only pay between $1 and $2. Bottom line, unless you're buying hundreds of penny stocks, you'll only pay $1.50 for Canadian trades and $2 for US trades. I'm very happy with that. But it gets even better. Now, for most brokers, commission fees aren't the problem. The real costs are conversion fees. When you convert Canadian dollars into US dollars or vice versa, that's how they get you. Look at Wealthsimple, great platform. But if you want to buy US investments, they'll charge you a whopping 1.5% in conversion fees each way. That's huge. That would cost me thousands of dollars. With Moomoo, it's a tiny fraction of that. They only charge 0.09% plus a $2 USD flat fee. So in Canadian dollars, it's $2.70 plus 0.09%. Let's compare 1.5% fee with Wealthsimple versus 0.09% with Moomoo. That's 16 times higher. Here's some examples. Converting $1,000 into USD, Wealthsimple would cost $15. Moomoo would only cost $3.60. That's just the conversion. Let's look at the whole picture. Say I want to buy $1,000 worth of Apple stock. With Wealthsimple, it will cost me $15 in total. For Moomoo, it will cost me $6.30, less than half the price. Here's the math. Converting $1,000 will cost $3.60, and since I'm buying a US stock, I pay $2 USD in commissions, or $2.70 Canadian, for a total of $6.30. Now for large sums of money, this difference gets even bigger. What if I want to convert $10,000 into USD? Wealthsimple will cost me $150. Moomoo, only $11.70. Now to buy Apple stock, again, we just add on $2.70 in commissions. So $10K worth of Apple stock will cost me $150 with Wealthsimple and only $14.40 with Moomoo. That's less than 10% of the cost, a huge difference. I'll show you this conversion in action, but first, let's look at my numbers to really highlight these savings. This is important because almost half of my portfolio is invested in the US. In total, I've invested about $72,000 USD. That's how much money I've put into US stocks and ETFs. Of course, exchange rates fluctuate over the years, but I've done the math, and in total, I've put in $90,000 Canadian worth of US investments. And my portfolio has done well. Adding up my US positions, it's grown to $119,000 USD. So it's worth $161,000 today in Canadian dollars. On the way up, I put in $90K of my money. With Wealthsimple, that 1.5% conversion fee would cost me $1,350. With Moomoo, only $83.70. That's a difference of almost $1,300 in fees. And it's even worse on the way down. My US portfolio is worth $161,000 right now. If I were to cash out, I'd have to pay conversion fees again. With Wealthsimple, that would cost me $2,415. Moomoo would only cost $147. That's a difference of $2,260. So, putting it all together, for my US investments, I would save $3,500 with Moomoo. The same investments, the same portfolio, just a different broker, and I would have an extra $3,500 in my pocket. I hope you're as impressed as I am, and I haven't even shown you the app yet. Just wait until you see the research tools, especially for ETFs and dividends. It's super easy to get started. It took me 2 minutes to sign up, but make sure you use my referral link below. I was able to secure a really nice bonus for you guys. Sign up and deposit $100 and you'll get a $50 cash bonus. Even better, deposit $2,000 and you'll get a $200 cash bonus. There's no minimum balance required. You can technically open an account with just $1, but don't leave free money on the table. For the best value, deposit $2,000 and you get $200 for free. That's a 10% instant return on your money. Not only that, but you'll get up to $2,000 in commission rebates for the first 90 days. Basically, you don't pay any commission fees for 3 months. And while you're waiting to buy stocks, your cash will be earning 6% in interest for 60 days. Guys, I've never seen a sign-up bonus like this. Over $2,200 worth of value. Generous is an understatement, so please click my link below and take advantage of it. It will take you to my customized landing page, Canadian T-shirt. That's how you know it's working. As of now, you can open a TFSA, RRSP, or a cash account or a margin account. That's if you want to borrow money. Even if you're focusing on your TFSA, everyone should open a cash account. You'll need a cash account to receive these cash bonuses. TFSAs and RSPs get complicated with contribution room, so you need a cash account. Just put in $5. On top of this juicy sign-up bonus, you can also get a transfer bonus up to $2,300. This is when you transfer your stocks or your cash from your bank or your brokerage into Moomoo. Transfer $10K and get $200 free. Transfer $100K and get $1,200 free. All the way up to $2,300 for a $500K transfer. Again, this transfer bonus combines with my sign-up bonus, so take advantage of this free money. Now, let's take a look at the app and the features that impressed me. Here we have the Moomoo app. Notice that we navigate the app by using these tabs at the bottom of the screen. We're starting here on the Watchlist page. This just gives me a snapshot of all the stocks and ETFs that I am tracking. One thing I want to point out, all of the stock prices you see here are live real-time quotes. There's no 15-minute delay. Right now, it's the weekend, the markets are closed, so that's why the prices aren't changing. You'll see in just a minute when I buy a stock and the market is open, the prices update automatically. This is the standard list view, but tap this button right here and we get the multi-chart view. I love this. I can see charts of all the stocks I want, all on the same page. Really cool. Now at the bottom, let's go to the Markets tab. Here we get a really cool snapshot of the global stock market. Here we see the major indices, the Dow Jones, NASDAQ, S&P 500, TSX, the biggest Canadian companies. It's all right here. There's so much information here. Scrolling down, we can also see commodities like oil, gold, we see bonds, crypto, foreign exchange. And all of this is free. Other platforms will make you pay a monthly fee for this kind of research. Moomoo gives it away for free. Here's something I really like. If I click on US and scroll down, we get a really cool heat map showing the different sectors of the US economy. Which ones are up, which ones are down. Same thing for Canada. It's a really cool visual summary of how the market is doing across all sectors. I do want to point out that Moomoo also has a great desktop app if you don't want to use your phone. It has all the same features: advanced charts, market research, portfolio summary. You just have more space on the screen. The majority of users are using the mobile app, so that's what I'll be showing in this video, but you always have the option. Back to the app, we're going to the next tab at the bottom, the Accounts tab. This is everything that I own, all of my cash and my stocks and ETFs. My portfolio is worth $2,263. You can see my cash both in Canadian dollars and US dollars. Here you see my profit or loss. I'm currently up $123 in capital gains. Scrolling down, you can see a list of all my positions. You can see all my US holdings and my Canadian holdings. All my stocks are currently up. They're all in the green except for Coca-Cola. That's okay. To see a breakdown of my stock performance, click here, P&L Analysis. There are other tabs I want to show you later in the video, such as the history of your transactions. Here you will see all your dividends, all the trades you executed, and all those commission rebates you receive if you used my referral link. Now this is what really impressed me. I want to show you all the research tools for both stocks and ETFs. And again, it's all free. We'll search for one of my favorite Canadian dividend stocks, and that's Manulife, ticker symbol MFC. Even the search bar is cool. So Manulife is cross-listed on both the Canadian and US stock market. And with Moomoo, it's color-coded. The blue one is in US dollars, the red one is Canadian. So this is the stock quote. Hit this button on the top right to open up all the details. These are all the standard stock metrics: open price, close price, price to earnings ratio, earnings per share, dividend yield, market cap. I go over what all these numbers mean in this video here. Of course, we have the stock chart. I can see how the share price has changed over different time horizons. I can move it around, zoom in, zoom out. But the really cool part is the research tools. So click on the company tab. There's so much information here. But let's start off with the profile section. We get an overview of the company, what they do, their history, and what sector they're in. We can see they're an insurance company. But the main meat is here in the financials section. Here we see all the numbers, their revenue, their earnings. We can also see analyst ratings. And again, all of this is free. But this part is really cool. We get a revenue breakdown. We get to see how this company makes money across different areas of its business and different regions, different countries. Manulife is an insurance company. I'll show you a more interesting example in just a second. Clicking on regions, now this is interesting. We get to see how Manulife makes money around the world. Even though they're a Canadian company, half of the revenue comes from the Asian markets. Let's compare this to an energy pipeline company like Enbridge. Geographically, about half its money comes from Canada, half comes from the US. And now the business breakdown, this is really cool. We get to see their revenue from energy versus pipelines. We get to see oil versus gas versus renewables. This is such a cool way to research a company. The visualization is right there, totally free. I don't have to go through the company's earnings reports or anything. It's so convenient. There's so much more here. I can also track their revenue, earnings, EBITDA across different time frames. I can also see illustrations of their financial documents, like their income statement, balance sheet, cash flow. And I don't have to search for these numbers on Yahoo Finance. I could do all of my research right here on the app. Here in shareholders, we can see which big names or big institutions actually own this company. As a famous example, let's look up Coca-Cola, and you'll see the largest investor is Warren Buffett through Berkshire Hathaway. Warren Buffett owns almost 10% of Coca-Cola. Back to Manulife, another really cool feature you can see here, related ETFs. Here I can see all of the ETFs that contain Manulife. and at what percentage weighting. This makes it super easy to diversify your portfolio while still investing heavily in your favorite company. I'll come back to ETFs in a minute. Now I want to focus on dividends. Here you see the dividend yield, that's standard, but you also see the dividend frequency, 4 times a year. So Manulife pays out a quarterly dividend. In this graph, I can see how the dividend amount and the dividend yield has changed over the years. Looking at the blue bars, you can see that Manulife has increased its dividend for the past 5 years. That's what I love to see. Now this is key. Moomoo also gives me the dividend payout ratio. I don't have to search on Yahoo Finance. I don't have to go to the company website. It's right there. If you're a dividend investor, you're gonna love this. The payout ratio is so important. As I always say, it's not about chasing a high dividend. It's about sustainable and increasing dividends. And the payout ratio is a great way to evaluate that. This number tells me that 56% of Manulife's net income goes out as dividends. That means this dividend is secure and they can afford to increase their dividend again this year. Click on dividends and you can see the history of all of its dividends quarter by quarter. And you can see how it's been growing year after year. I always had to manually look up this information on Yahoo Finance. But the fact that I can see all this for free right here on Moomoo, that's amazing. Now that I've done my research, I'm ready to buy the stock. But before I do that, I want to show you the research tools for ETFs. Here we have XEI, one of my favorite Canadian ETFs that focuses on dividends. Here on the stock quote, we have the same kind of information as we saw with stocks. Similar metrics, price chart, but what's really cool is that instead of having the company tab, now we have a fund tab. Click on profile, we see a description of what the ETF does. This is a BlackRock ETF that focuses on high dividends. And this is awesome. Right off the bat, Moomoo tells you what the management fee is and what the MER is. This is so important for ETF investors. This tells me the annual fee to invest in this ETF. Now, I don't have to search on BlackRock's website to find this number. Moomoo just gives it to me. I love this feature. This is a dividend ETF, so we have to analyze the dividend just like we did with stocks. Again, we can see the dividend yield and the frequency. This is a monthly dividend. And we can see the dividend history, how the dividend has grown over the years. Now this is special for ETFs. We have a breakdown tab. We see analyst ratings, but this is really cool. We get a breakdown of the holdings within the ETF. Remember, an ETF is just a collection of stocks, and Moomoo just shows me all the stocks contained within this ETF and at what percentage. When researching an ETF, this for me is the most important thing, and it's so easy. I don't have to search on BlackRock or Vanguard's website. Everything I need is right here on Moomoo. We also see a breakdown of the different asset classes, stocks versus bonds, as well as a breakdown of the industries and the regions. This feature is super useful. To really highlight this, let's look at a more complicated ETF like ZGRO. This is an all-in-one ETF. Moomoo tells me 80% of this ETF is stocks, 20% bonds, the rest cash. Here's a breakdown of the sectors, tech, financials, industrials, so on. Now, regions. This is a global ETF. We can see 45% is in the US, 30% Canada, a little bit in Japan, UK, and other countries. And since this ETF contains bonds, I also get to analyze their credit rating as well as their maturity dates. Plus, types of bonds, government bonds, corporate bonds, that kind of thing. Guys, this is what really impressed me about Moomoo, and the fact that all of these research tools are free, I just can't get over it. Other platforms would charge a monthly fee for these features, $20, $30, even $50 a month. Moomoo gives it away for free. So yeah, I am impressed. And going forward, I am using Moomoo for all of my research. Now I want to actually buy a stock and show you those super low fees in action. I'm buying Manulife, so I click the orange trade button and buy. I'm going to spend all of my available cash. Moomoo tells me that I can only afford to buy 3 shares. If I tap this button, it's going to max it out. So I buy 3 shares. Click this button next to buy to see the trade preview and the breakdown of all the fees. Normally, when I buy Canadian stocks, it'll charge me $1.50 in commission fees, but I'm making a very small trade, less than $200. So in this case, I only pay $1.05. If I were making a bigger trade, let's say I was buying 30 shares, then I would pay the standard rate $1.50 for Canadian stocks. But today, I can only afford to buy 3 shares, so let's buy it. Done. And you can see right here, order was filled. I bought 3 shares of Manulife. Last thing I want to show you are all my transactions and bonuses. So from the accounts page, click on history and order history, and now you see all my transactions.
all the dividends I've received, all the interest I've earned on my cash. Remember, I'm earning that 6% promotional interest. And you can see all the commission fees that I've been paying, as well as the cash rebates that I got from using my referral link. Remember, I just bought 3 shares of Manulife and it cost me $1.05 in commission fees. And you can see here, just a few days later, I was reimbursed that $1.05 in commission fees. So take advantage of my referral link below and don't pay any commission fees for the first 90 days. Plus, you can get that $200 cash bonus. Last thing, if we go on the transfers page, here is where you can deposit cash and click exchange to convert currency between Canadian dollars and US dollars. And remember, with Moomoo, the conversion fees are super low. Final thing, if we go down here to the Discover tab, there's a really cool feature called paper trading. This allows you to practice investing with fake money. This is a very useful feature, especially for beginners.
Overall, I am extremely impressed with Moomoo, but they're not perfect. They're missing a few features that I care about, but believe me, they are working on it. In fact, I had a 3-hour meeting with their team, giving them my feedback and suggestions. First off, they're missing a lot of account types. The only registered accounts they support so far are the TFSA and the RRSP. If you want an RESP, FHSA, spousal RSP, corporate accounts, they don't have them yet. They're new to Canada, and it takes time getting compliance from the government, but they are coming. They don't support fractional shares just yet, and they don't have DRIPs, but they are working on it. In the meantime, I'll just manually reinvest my dividends when I get them. Also, they don't have instant deposits yet. For now, you deposit cash as an online bill payment, and it takes 1 to 2 days to arrive. Again, they're new, and it takes time to set things up with Interac, but good news, all of these features are on the way. And while I'm waiting for these improvements, I'm happy to enjoy their super low commission fees and conversion fees for US investing. This will save me a ton of money in the long run, especially when dollar cost averaging. And I absolutely love their research tools, especially when it comes to ETFs and dividend stocks. It's a one-stop shop. Everything I need is right there on the app. So give it a try, I'm sure you'll be surprised. Remember to use my referral link below to get that $200 cash bonus plus the rebates. And thank you again to Moomoo for sponsoring this video. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of The Canadian in a T-Shirt. Bye guys.